when a brand comes up to you, a CBD brand, let's say, comes up to you, where do you start? And maybe take this from the point of view of them trying to do it themselves. Where do you start with identifying which channels or the brand's voice or how they communicate? What does that process look like when you first work with a new brand?
Well, the first thing I always do is I insist on them reading the rules on every network. And if you are a business owner and you have not read the rules on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, I don't think you should be a business owner. That is just as important as reading the lease for your building. It is just as important as reading your tax stuff. Social media has become an afterthought. It is, did you post today? You have to read the rules. And I'm sure if you've taken investors on, they're going to want to know that you are doing your due diligence as a business owner. It is your responsibility to understand the rules, because I get a ton of cleanup work from people that were hired because they're young kids who didn't even take a moment to read the very first community standard on Instagram, which is you can only use your own images. You can't take an image from somewhere else and give attribution. You cannot do a Google search. And besides, why would you want to brand your brand with someone else's images? But it is so simple. But if you don't take the time to do it, you should not be in business, period.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. First rule of thumb when you're working with any of these platforms is use your own content, read the rules. It makes total sense. What are some of those other highlighted rules that maybe people miss that are just kind of obvious? I think that's a really important one. Don't just steal images. You can't do it. It's harmful to the people who created those images, and it's harmful to your brand. What other high level rules would you say are just critical that people miss?
I would say not even high level, basic 101 stuff I see missing. You can't use your profile on Facebook for business. And a profile is for people. It's not a page and it's not a personal page. It's your profile. It is for people, and the terms of service state you cannot use your profile for business. You have to have a business page. So that's the first thing that I see a lot of people doing. I untag myself when people post on their profile anything business related, because I'm already flagged on Facebook. They know what I'm up to. I am limited in what I can do on Facebook for some clients because of this industry. But I want to touch base on a word you used during your first part of this question was the word promote, because social media is not for promotion. Social media is social. And I think that many people have forgotten that definition. So go to dictionary.com, type in SOCIAL and tell me what the definition is, because it's not promotion. It's not self-promotion. We call it social media, not me media, for a reason. So what I recommend for people, and this is a little off track, but you need to spend an hour a day on every network that you're on. So if you have a Facebook page, your Facebook page needs to be on there for an hour, finding other pages to follow and commenting, liking, and sharing when relevant. Your Facebook page cannot be all your own content, because that's boring. If all I did was talk about weed is cool. That makes me boring, though, because I'm one-sided. So that if you're on Twitter for your brand, you need to be on there for an hour a day. It doesn't have to be all at once. You can split it up throughout the day. Social media is not 9 to 5. So for me, that works really well, because I'm an Aquarius and I'm all over the place all day long. And in this industry, you have to pivot constantly. So you can break that up, but do not forget the social part.
I think that's such a great point. Real quick on that, like Facebook's whole mission is connecting other people, right? And like what's cool about these companies is if you look at what they're trying to do ultimately and you align yourself with their goals, you're going to go much further on their platform, because their whole business model has been created to support you supporting their business goals. Facebook's not trying to allow spammy people to create business Facebook personal profiles that just launch cruddy content that's so self-absorbed that it's not accomplishing their goals, which is to connect. I find this to be like, I like just your general kind of reference of how you go about your marketing, which is follow the rules, understand what they want you to do and what their policies are. You're using their software, follow their policies, but both for compliance, but also for growth, for the opportunity to be aligned with them so you can go further. I think you're exactly right. I think if you do personal profiles and use those personal profiles for social connection, that can often lead to business opportunity similar to networking. But it doesn't need to be business promotion. It needs to be social connection, and then use their tools that they've created for business promotions properly. I think that's a really important point that people don't think of. Facebook's goal is for people to spend more time in Instagram and all these social media platforms, but especially Facebook and Instagram. Their goal is to get people to spend more time on the platforms. How do they do that? Well, it's exceptional content that fits the model, right? So great points. I want to just keep running with it because I'm loving what you're saying.